Hello, everyone, and welcome to live number 25 with Dede. I am the Invincible CEO, and this is the Invincible CEO YouTube channel, the Wish Fulfilled Playground, where we help take you from mindset to manifestation. I want to welcome everybody who is here today, give you a few minutes to get on board. Shout yourself out in the live chat. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. We have some questions submitted today that we're going to be addressing. I'm really excited because we are in day 3 of our $1,000 per day money manifestation challenge that we are doing all through July in our wonderful Wish Fulfilled Playground community. So if you have not yet joined our beautiful community, you can do so by simply going into the description box. There is a wonderful link for the group. It'll say the Manifestation Challenge group. Click on the link, join in. If you're here and you're already part of the challenge, feel free to post some comments. You can ask your questions. You can share what it's like to be in the group and in the challenge and how exciting it is. I'm just making sure that we have all of my backups going here so that we can really be flowing with this right now. Hello, New Earth. Hello. How are you? Thank you for being here. Let me know where you're watching from. I know we have viewers and subscribers all the way to Sydney, Australia, and back around to Hawaii and everywhere in between. I love interacting with all of you guys. We are having a blast in the Wish Fulfilled Playground community. People are already, day 3, they're already manifesting thousands of dollars. And the best part is we just don't know how it's going to show up, but we keep flooding the consciousness over and over and over. Hey, Toronto, Canada. Awesome. We got Canada's in the house now. How many other countries do we have on board? How many states are we in? How many different cities? I'm so excited to be here. And this channel has been really blowing up. Well, the last 6-7 months, but the last 2 or 3 weeks, we are just getting so many exciting people in here. I'm taking you from mindset, the logical left brain analytical part of you, because that's probably the part that's been really guiding you up until this point. And we're moving into manifestation, which is more of that magical, intuitive. And what we do here at the Invincible CEO is we bring both sides, both minds together, that conscious mind and that subconscious mind. And when they work together as a harmony, as a team, that's when the magic happens, folks. And there are some exciting videos that are going to go up in the next day or two. So I do want to give a little bit of a shout out that if you have any SP questions, I'm working on an SP video. We do have a couple subscribers that have sent questions and are very, very similar. So if you are in the process of manifesting an SP, brand new, bringing one back, and you have any questions, if you could comment in any of the videos or on the community tab, or even send me an email at denise@theinvincibleceo.com, that would be wonderful. We have Adina from Hungary, a really good friend of mine. We're going to make everybody jealous of Adina for a second. And she is a powerful manifester. We've been manifesting together probably, I think, what did you say, 13 or 15 years, Adina? We've known each other now, and it's just been a blast to be part of her journey and just watching her blossom and explode in so many different ways over the years. Wow. Speaking of that, we have lights that are falling down now. Excuse me 1 second here as I get this balance back up. Tried to get that lighting. I have some new lighting coming in, but it wasn't ready to go yet. So we're dealing with that one. Okay. And then we have Val from Venice Beach, California. She is having a blast in not only in our 30-day challenge, but she is part of the 3-month group that we have, the Wish Fulfilled group. Wonderful group of people that are finishing up their first month, and we have a couple months to go in our group program. So we are just having a blast. Hello, happy day world. Ty from Greenville, South Carolina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And there's Stefanos. I knew you would be here. Vancouver Island, British Columbia. And Stefanos shared some beautiful pictures in the Wish Fulfilled group of where he's located. So beautifully blue. I love those pictures. So welcome, guys. I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad. Yes. Lucky you. And you know what? We're going to say lucky you, but luck has nothing to do with it when you are commanding your reality. Now, in the past couple of videos, I shared how I helped my daughter get her car. Then we talked about leftovers, right? That the 3D physical world are leftovers. And just like our leftovers in the refrigerator, we can choose to engage with them or not. And if we don't want them, we can throw them out, but they are not the boss of us. Leftovers are not the boss of you. The 3D reality is not the boss of you, right? So as I said before, I'm just a big kid at heart. I like to have fun. And that's why I like to bring in, so many times these echoes come in and I'm like, you're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. I'm the one in charge. So you're the one in charge. We're having so much fun with this manifestation challenge, but I also talked in a video yesterday about the echoes. Now, it's one thing when you have the physical 3D reality, you can push the 3D reality around, but it gets a little bit more subtle when we get into the mental leftovers, which are echoes, right? So if you walked into a cave, whether you commanded the echo or not, or somebody else said it, if you heard an echo, would you think that echo is the boss of you and was telling you what to do? You wouldn't take an echo in a cave at its word, even if you just said it, let alone if you didn't just say it, right? So when we hear those, what we would call up until joining the Invincible CEO thoughts in our mind, they're not thoughts. They're echoes. They're echoes from some other version of you that's close enough for you to maybe grab your attention a little bit, but make those echoes audition for your attention. You've seen the TV shows, you've seen the movies where they're auditioning, and even American Idol, right? They come up, they got their few seconds, they either sing, dance, do whatever it is that they're doing, and then it's like, next, boom. That's what you have to do with these echoes. It's like, next, nope, not me, not me, not me. And I have a video that I'm going to put up tomorrow about states of being, going from one state of being to another. Here on the Invincible CEO, we do not just talk about stuff. I don't give you concepts. I'm literally going to morph in front of your eyes from one state of being to another, so that when that video is done, you will never question again if you did your imaginal act enough. You will know without a doubt what will be needed from you when you go into your closed eye, what we call passive imaginal acts, that you're going to see not only me physically transform, but how my facial features are, how I speak, my energy. But also, if I can find my heart rate monitor, I'm actually going to bring the heart rate monitor so you can actually see my heart rate shifting, because my subconscious mind is going to be so convinced, and I'm going to leave it as a mystery what it is I'm going to be sharing with you, but my subconscious mind is going to be so convinced that I'm somewhere other than on the video in my office, that you will be able to literally see me morph. It's almost like some of those TV shows where you've seen people with multiple personalities. Instead of the multiple personalities taking over the individual, you as the operant power can call these multiple personalities in. You do it all day long anyway, when you're a mom and you're a partner and you're a dad, and then you're at the gym, and then you're, at the movies, and you shift from one state of being to the other. And most of the time it's so subtle, you don't know it. But after tomorrow's video, I promise you, you will see manifestation, states of being, imaginal acts in a whole different way that you have never seen it before. Okay, so I know that you guys get so enthralled with the videos, but don't forget to keep putting your questions in the live chat or in the comment section. And in the live chat, if there's something that resonates with you, I want you to put it in there. I want you to command and script your reality. So if something really resonates strong, make sure that you script that reality so that we can start bringing this into being. So now this 30-day, $1,000 a day. And, it's wonderful if it comes in $1,000 a day right off the bat. But I'm going to tell you, most likely it can, but most likely won't. But that doesn't mean that you won't leave July $30,000 richer. And even if you leave $15,000 richer, and it takes a whole other month for it to be consistent to the $1,000 a day or $30,000 a month, you think you're going to be upset with the 15, but we're going to hold our mind to it, because just because we don't get the whole 30 at the end of July, our mind still owes us. I don't let the mind off the hook. When I've commanded something and I'm giving it the grace that I'm allowing my mind to shift gears and it slowly becomes consistent. But never, ever, ever, nor should you forget what your mind owes you based on what you've commanded into your reality. Because the last thing that you want is your mind training you to accept 50%, 75%, even 90 or 95% of what you've commanded. Because say it with me, put it in the comments. I'm the operant power. You're the one in charge, right? Just like when I'm running my business, I'm the CEO of my business. You are the CEO of your life. You are the chief energetic officer. And you have the bigger vision, but in the beginning, you are in charge of the daily operations. So what we're doing with this $1,000 per day and why we're doing it for 30 days is because we have to flood the consciousness. We have to flood the consciousness. Oh, and why I'm thinking about flooding the consciousness, because it's one of the 3 options. If you haven't yet gone to our community tab and voted for this week's community chosen video, there's 3 options on the community tab. You might have to go down a couple posts. Make sure you vote, make your vote count. Because if it's the Friday video is about tipping over the consciousness, this is something really, really powerful. So if we were to say photocopies, right? Let's say your old reality is 100 photocopies strong. And in that reality, maybe you walk away with $5,000 at the end of each month. So now you're invoking 25,000 more, but your subconscious mind is just going to put out those 100 copies. And most of the time you're doing exactly the same thing because it's a pattern. You got yourself on a pattern. And that's why we shared some things like in our live last week, where instead of, if you get out of your bed in the morning and you put your right foot down, get out of the bed and deliberately put the left one. Create a different routine, create a different loop, because your mind loves loops. That's why when you can't think of that actor and then 3 days later, the name pops in your head, because your mind likes to close loops. So we talked last week about how to close the loop, right? When you have a cup of coffee and you're done, don't just leave the cup on the counter, right? Go put the cup in the sink or the dishwasher. And then when you do it, say loop closed. Start teaching your mind that you're the loop closer. You're the one that's going to close the loop, so that when we want to close the loops of some of those old realities, then that's going to be really powerful, because what you say is what you say, because you are the operant power. Okay, so we want to flood the consciousness, because let's just say now we're in day 3. And let's just say each day there's 100 photocopies of the old reality. So on day 1, there was like 99, and we could say we flooded the consciousness and we made 1 new copy. So we have the old reality that has 99 photocopies and 1 new copy of the new reality. And now on day 2, we're doing it more. We're repeating it more. We're going in every hour on the hour. We're doing the initial activation in the morning, where we take a little bit more time. We're zeroing out. We're commanding who we are. We're commanding what we want to see. We're having a lot of fun with it. And I don't want it to be surface level. That's why tomorrow's video is going to be so powerful, of how to change states of being, because it physically feels different in your body. So now on day 2, maybe we're up to 3 photocopies of the new reality, but we still have 97 over here. And that's why the old reality seems to be so persistent. We haven't flooded it enough yet and that's why I gave the analogy in one of the other videos about Noah's Ark, right? In the Noah's Ark story, the God of that reality was not happy with the reality. So it flooded it so that it could start a new reality. Right? That's what we're doing here. We're going to Noah's Ark this baby. We're going to flood the old reality with the new reality. And it doesn't matter. We're not looking for proof. What's the evidence that we have? Because we said so. I receive $1,000 a day. Why? Because I said so. That's it. Right? Every mom's lovely go-to. Because I said so. And we say it with conviction. We say it with clarity. We say it with certainty. That's what's so powerful about being here. And I also shared, and it's on the channel, the 3 little piggies of manifestation, right? You know the stories of the 3 little pigs. It's very symbolic for manifestation, because the first little pig is like when you first find manifestation, right? You're just so excited and you get some hits. You get some hits from the pure excitement of it. But then it becomes this new thing. And this is why you'll hear me say over and over that we want to build manifestation foundation. It is paramount, because if you don't have foundation and you're just doing a whole bunch of techniques and you had some hits in the beginning, soon as that wobble hits, soon as that big bad wolf comes huffing and puffing and says, no, you're not, no, you don't, you never have, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, what about this time? Because that mind comes in, that's your big bad wolf. When those echoes come in, even though they're not happening right now, they're just echoes, you believe them to be real. And if you have a house of straw, collapse it goes, right? So then you're like, okay, you step back and you're like, I'm gonna do this, but I don't want to waste the time of building a brick house. That's too tedious, that's too long, I don't have time for that. But I still want my manifestation. So yeah, I won't rebuild with a straw house, but give me some twigs, give me some wood, right? I'm willing to do that. I would do that, right? Little play on words there. Same thing happens though, my friends. If you don't build the foundation to put the techniques into, that big bad wolf of wobble is going to come, and it's going to come even stronger because you got the pendulum swinging. You activated some things that weren't in the old script. And that's all the balancing and checks. That's why it seems sometimes that it swings in the opposite direction, because you've opened up bigger energy that you weren't playing in before. And when you're aware of that and you almost even expect a little bit of that swing back, that pull back, because over here in our brick house, we have foundation, we don't care. We don't care. Bring me the opposite. Bring me the stinking opposite. I will rewrite it into my story, and so will you. This is what I'm teaching you, and that's why for our 30-day challenge, it's important to do it. It's important to take 5 minutes of every hour. Give 55 minutes to everything else, but 5 minutes of every hour is yours for you to engage and flood in 5 minutes what the other reality has to do in 55. We can be dominant in our new reality in 5 minutes because we are so present and aware. And I see the question, what if you are on autopilot? Do you hear the echoes anymore? It's a really great question. There will always be echoes. There will always be echoes. However, well, I don't want to say always be echoes. If you're in a character and if you're in time and space, there will always be echoes. But you can go outside of time and space, and that's why I teach 0 point. And in the beginning, it just seems like it's some like kind of meditation knockoff, but it's not. Because when you make it a practice, and I don't like to call it a practice, I like to call it an experience. When you continually give yourself this 3 minutes of the 3, 6, or 9 minutes of the deep dive into 0 point, you'll start to see what happens. You'll start to see what happens. It's freaking unbelievable. There are no words, because you go what I call the realm of no thought, or thought, no thought. The only way you can get there is if you give up thought and language. So when you give up thought and language, there are no more echoes. But if you're hearing echoes, you're in a character, but are you in a low level character or are you in a high level character? Because the echoes change as you elevate, as you go up in your elevator. And some teachers call that higher vibrations. I try not to get too much into that, because then it just gives the mind more reasons to come back with echoes that you're not doing it right. You can't get this wrong. You hear me say it all the time. You can't get this wrong, but you can make it long. And what we're doing here, the only reason things take a lot of time and space is because you have wobble within yourself. Your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are contradicting each other. That's what wobble is. Echoes are thought forms. We call thought forms or ideas in the Invincible CEO, we call them echoes. And this is how you know it's an echo. And I've shared this before, but it's so powerful that if I zero out for 3 minutes and I say nothing, and then I come back into the reality, I just got here, brand new, big bang, this reality just started, right? I've done it before where I have you look around, open eye reality, close your eyes, take a few seconds, open it, you're in a new reality. Looks just like the one you just left, but this reality just started. Time and space, the beginning of all time and space are right now. I know that can be hard for the mind to wrap around, because you go, well, when was I born? How did I get here? No, this is it. You got here. Here you are. Boom. Let's call this the Big Bang. So if you, since you just got here, have been totally silent, you have the right to remain silent. There shouldn't be any echoes because you haven't said anything. So if you haven't said anything, you zeroed yourself out. and then you hear an echo. That's a different reality that's close enough for you to hear it. The example I give in my videos is that if you were at a restaurant and there's people behind you at a booth, you can hear their conversation and you probably could make out their words. But someone across the room, you can see that they're speaking, but it would be mumble, 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 mumble. So you wouldn't be able, that reality is not close to you, but you are aware that there's some noise being made, but you're aware of the reality behind you. So if you zero, that's why 0 point, someone asked me this past week, if I can only choose one video or teach one technique, and that's all I was allowed on YouTube, right? Everybody's only allowed to have one video. 0 point would be it. The technique would be it, because it's from that point, you add on everything else and you get really clear and you get really certain because you come out of the character. The character that's doubtful is always doubtful. Think of the 7 dwarves. That's what Snow White and the 7 dwarves were teaching us, right? Happy is always happy, and grumpy is always grumpy, and sneezy is always sneezy. The sneezing you is always sneezing. The grumpy you is always grumpy. There's not just one version of you. That's why I love using kids' stories and fairy tales, because they've been teaching you consciousness and manifestation from the get-go, right? Mind-blowing stuff here, I know. But it's that simple, and the reality always has to present itself to you in the form that it's in. You just have to be aware and open. So that's why, to answer your question, what if we go on autopilot? That's why in all my programs, every hour on the hour, and we're doing this in the 30-day, $1,000 per day challenge, you stop your world, right? If I do it right now and it is 4:21 and I spend my 5 minutes, then at 5:21, I'm setting my alarm for 5:21 and I will stop. I have 1 hour to go into the story, to be the character, to be lost in time and space, doing whatever I'm doing. And then I get pulled out into a hybrid moment and I zero out again. And I look, and this was something that was really powerful in yesterday's echo video, that thoughts are echoes and echoes are leftovers. If I don't like what's being offered, I can change it right here. And you are the operant power. So these echoes are not the boss of you, but because they sound like you, and there's a really great show on Apple TV. If you haven't watched it, I'm thinking about doing a series about it, Dark Matter. It shows and explains the subconscious mind and the power of your choice amazingly. If you've watched Dark Matter, let me know in the comment section below, because I've been asking for a really long time for something in the TV shows or movies to show to you that's not very confusing of how all this works. That show is brilliant. You're welcome. Yesterday, there are so many little things throughout the day that manifested. It was just wild. I know, right? Just random passing thoughts that popped into my head, manifested later, that things that I really focused right on time aren't. So what we do is every hour on the hour, we pull ourselves out of the script and we allow ourselves 55 minutes to be on autopilot, but then we come back out and we go, I'm the operant power, and we zero out again. And if you have a character that won't let you do it, you're being sucked into the script. Sucked into the script. So, and when you really schedule the time each hour on the hour to pull yourself out, you can see what the echoes are, because when you're in the story, you think they're you, but they're not. Make those suckers audition for your attention. Zero yourself out and then pay attention to what comes in, because our minds have created the same feeling about a lion ready to jump on you and pounce on you versus the one that's really here. And we believe that the imaginary one is really here. And that's how we stress ourselves out. And that's how we really get trapped in these mind loops. I can't say this enough, and I'll say it over and over and over again until it resonates, because this is something that I really want you to spend time with. The now moment is boring to the conscious mind. It's so and it's eternal and it's forever. So because it's eternal and forever, and on this now moment, You are like the goddess or the god of all the realities. And then an echo comes and auditions and you think it's you, and it sucks you right into it. When in that moment, you could realize it as an echo and say, not today, not today, not going there. That is not who I am. This is who I am in this now moment. And the moment that you declare it, it opens up. That's why we say over and over, I receive $1,000 a day. And just like Erin and Kat said, that once you start opening this up and your mind has been waiting for you to open up to it, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to understand it. You don't know gravity, how it works. You don't have to believe in gravity for it to work for you. But look at you down on the ground, wherever you are. Anybody floating in the air that's watching? Cece, hello, how are you? Is that Lee? Thank you. And Lori, hey, from Vegas, you watch Dark Matter? Yes. And Lori, doesn't it really start to hit home with what we talk about? And I'm actually thinking about reaching out to the author of the book and see if we can get an interview, because that would really be awesome. Well, of course, we'll get an interview because we just said so. There you go. That's how this works, folks. Okay. So that's the power of, we don't want to always be in a hybrid or creator state. We want to jump in and be like the character and be in character mode so that we get all the benefits of being the character, but then we know how to pull ourselves out and we know how to choose again. And that's what's so powerful. So now let me address some of the questions that I got in for our $1,000 per day. And this is by Abdul Malik. A shout out to him. Thank you so much. Not only has he left wonderful comments on the YouTube channel, but I don't know if you guys are aware, there's something called super chats and super thanks, where you can just do a little token of appreciation. And he sent me over a little thank you payment. So that was really, really sweet. Thank you for doing that. His question is this. My question is, when I imagine my achieved goal, I feel a thrill, especially in the upper back shoulders with a slight raise. And this happens with all the echoes that I've set for achieving $1,000 daily. How can I benefit from this movement in reaching my goal? Okay. So my whole goal as your guide, as your coach, is to get you back in your body awareness, right? And this is where my unique spin is, being a certified personal trainer, nutritionist, bodybuilder. Not only that, 9th degree Reiki Grandmaster, trained interrogator, the whole mind, body, spirit. But if you are a serious athlete, we are taught to really connect the mind-muscle connection with our bodies. Now, you already have it. It is your natural language. It is your native language. It doesn't matter where you were born, what language you speak out loud, how many different languages you speak out loud. We were all born with the same language and operating system. And for the first 2, maybe 3 years of our lives, we were predominantly subconscious oriented, that we did not need language. Language was taught to you, therefore it is not needed. But the language that has been consistent with you, regardless of which character you're in, is how your body speaks to you and the story that you put over top of it. So when you get that urge or that sensation, and when Neville Goddard talked about feeling is the secret, we're not talking emotions. We are talking feeling, the actual tickles and itches. And as Abdul Malik was saying, the slight rise, he could actually feel the embodiment of this different person version of him coming in. You'll sit differently, you'll speak differently, and you'll see that in tomorrow's video. So when you get a sensation within yourself that you have identified within yourself that it means I have to go to the bathroom, you know exactly what to do. You don't go to the kitchen and make a sandwich. So when you have that sensation, you go to the bathroom. When you're hungry, you go to the kitchen. So when you realize that that's your subconscious cueing you, hello, because we can get so lost in what we're doing, especially if we love what we're doing. If I'm behind the scenes creating something, when I get that sensation, it's time to go to the bathroom, I don't argue with it. I don't doubt it. I may buy a little extra time, but through my own experience, I know how much time that I have when I really have to get up and go, or I can do a few more things. So this is your body. It's your subconscious has been speaking to you through your body. But we've been taught to put over these sensations, these ridiculous stories sometime, like if your body goes up in temperature, you're sick. No, that's just what's happening in the now moment is very boring. Your body is going up in temperature because my body goes up in temperature, but I have not been sick since 2005. I have told my mind, do not bring me those realities. Do not have them audition for me. They're no longer wanted. And since I declared that, it not even a sniffle. Don't take a day off. Don't need a day off. I'm always moving, always excited about my day, knowing that those realities, they can zoom by. I can see other people accept those realities, those auditions into their lives, but I could walk through a field of malaria and I'm good. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. That's what I mean by being the operant power. Yes, happy day world. I'm glad you need to hear this. But again, on this channel, this isn't about learning one more thing. This is now putting it into experience. So because the now moment is so boring, but it's home to the subconscious, nothing, all that's happening is happening. And what I mean by that, that's why I really want you to get this. What's happening is happening, meaning that the birds are chirping and that too shall pass. They'll stop chirping. If a car is going by, it'll go by and then you won't hear it anymore. That too shall pass. Same thing with your echoes. When they come in, they're just an echo. If you let them go, they too shall pass. But you have to have your story so clearly defined, so certain to what it is that you expect, that when something shows up that's not part of it, you immediately dismiss it. And the example I use for this over and over again is let's say you decide to get your kitchen remodeled and you draw up the blueprints and you got the people on board that are going to do it for you and they tell you it's going to take a week and you're like, you know what, I need a vacation, and out the door you go on a vacation, so excited that when you come back you'll have your brand new kitchen. And when you get back, they do the big unveil and they go, ta-da, and everything was exactly like you like it, except they decided to put a toilet in the middle of your kitchen with no walls around it, or just smack dab in the middle of your kitchen because it's the new trend. And they just threw it in for free. What would you do? What would you do to come home in this kitchen and now there's just this active toilet in your kitchen? You'd get rid of it. You'd get rid of it because you know what you've commanded. You know what you asked for. And no matter how big of a trend it is, wherever, you don't want it in your kitchen. So when we're doing reality creation, the reason why you have wobble, and I teach in my programs how to eliminate that very quickly, you have to know and be certain and clear, what does your world look like? How does your character show up? What do they say? How are they different? So when I go back to Abdul Malik's question, and he can feel, it's almost like the Incredible Hulk, right? We see the Incredible Hulk like bursting out of the clothes because it's a different state of being. Your body's prepping you for that. So that means that anytime, Abdul Malik, when you're going around your 3D reality and you're in that 55 minutes of the hour where you're engaged being the character, and that feel shows up, just like when the feel to go to the bathroom shows up, you got to get yourself to the bathroom. When that feel shows up, there's something right there in that moment for your $1,000 a day, because your subconscious mind, there's only now. It's not giving it to you a half hour ahead of time. It's not giving it to you 3 hours later. It's now. Now. So if that shows up, and that means that there's $1,000 right there, it's either expand what it is that you're doing or stop what you're doing and go do the thing that you're meant to do. Right? So Erin said, love dark matter. So cool watching the show about this stuff. That box and that liminal space and how they are when they go to open that door and the state of being and the realities that they were given to them. I'm telling you, this is exactly what we're talking about here. So, so, so powerful. So guys, if you're watching and you're not in the group yet, if you go into the description box and join our 30-day challenge, even though we're on day 3, you can start on your day 1 because you are where you are. Just start. I always say start ugly. Start ugly, be willing to face plant, because through the consistency of flooding the consciousness, knowing that the now moment is so boring, and now that you're flooding your consciousness with, I receive $1,000 a day, I receive $1,000 a day, and you're like, peekaboo, are you here? You're looking in your drawers now, and you're going, peekaboo, are you here? Right? I walk up to my partner, you got $1,000 for me? Boom, puts right in my hand, $1,000, right? We hide checks around the house and we play hot, cold. Where's the check? Where's the check? Where's the check? And we'll do hot, cold, hot, cold. We have so much fun. Stop adulting. Stop being a serious adult and bring out the fun, playful part of you, because manifestation is simple, easy, and fun. If I had a nickel for every time an adult or a dream character said to me, will you please take things seriously? Why are you being so childish? I'm like, why are you being so serious? Because being serious isn't going to get me what I want. Because the more light I am, the more excited I am, because that's the state of being it would be when it shows up, then why not invoke the state of being? Because then you become this magnet. So Abdul Malik, this is a wonderful thing. Now, I don't want you to think about reaching goals and benefits. I want you to stay in the flow of my system's working. My subconscious mind just reached out to me and I got the message. I came off the autopilot. You are so loved. Your subconscious mind is beating your heart, digesting your food, growing your hair, eliminating your waste, causing perspiration. Thank goodness the conscious mind is not in charge of that, because we would be like dropping dead, reviving ourselves, dropping dead, reviving ourselves, because it has a 15 to 30-second attention span. Okay. The next question was Ty. And she asked, could you explain the process a little bit more? Like at 3 p.m., I do 3 minutes, 0 point, and then my declarations, and then my imaginal act. And I just want to make sure that I'm not doing this wrong, even though I know there's no wrong way. I just want to be absolutely clear. Thank you. Okay. So one of the things I want to address in that first is that I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. What I really want you to rewrite the script with saying that is, I want to do it my way. I want you to Frank Sinatra this, the whole and I did it my way type of thing. I want you to create your own little ceremony or routine, right? So if you think about when you wake up in the morning, you have this little routine. So this is more like a guideline routine to get you in the flow that your subconscious mind knows that when you do this, you're commanding your reality versus making a sandwich. And that's why right now, that when you are giving your attention to this, that your attention can't be split, because you can't serve two masters. And most of the time, since this is something new, it gets less of the energy. So when I've said this before, when I'm working with a new training client or nutrition client, and they're moaning and groaning about having to go to the gym every day or having to eat the 5 meals every day. And I know that that's very normal, because that's an old reality trying to hold on for dear life, because that's not how things were in the old reality. Now we're flooding the consciousness with going to the gym, where they didn't do that before, with eating certain foods, certain amounts, certain times of the day. They didn't do that. They're really stepping out of character, and the old character does not like it, because for this new character to really come into being, the old character is going to have to die. You have to die to the old self. So now over space and time, I watch my clients go from moaning and groaning about those things to somewhere around the 5th or 6th week saying, oh, I missed the gym and I hated it. Or I was running out of food and I knew I had to stop what I was doing and get over to the supermarket and get the food because I didn't want to miss my next meal. Like, that's when you know you've shifted, because you sound different. Things that upset you that you had to do before, you start to look forward to. And then if for some reason life happens and you can't do it, to hear them go, oh, I wanted to be at the gym so bad, but I had to go to my daughter's recital, or something along that line, right? That's when you know the shift. And as your guide, I've been through this so many times. That's why I say, give me 3 months, I will change, and you will change your life. And not only that, but you will have a blueprint, you will have a roadmap on what to do, so that if you get sucked into a character and you forget about it, it's right there waiting for you. right there. And it's like riding a bike. You just go right back into it, and it's a no-brainer, a no-brainer. So here, Ty, saying to you with this, we're going to shift it from, I don't want to get this wrong, to I'm going to take the time to create a new ceremony for myself. Right? That's the first thing. Okay. The 0 point, I know in the beginning, because this is just how things are in the old realities, that it's exciting. It's this new doing. The conscious mind will entertain it. But after a while, when it wants those results, the conscious mind that wants the results doesn't actually provide them, right? So the conscious mind that says to you, you're craving sweets, isn't the version of you that actually eats the food. It's the subconscious that eats the food. So remember, the conscious mind is just the chooser. It's never meant to be the storyteller, but it's bored in the now moment. So it starts to tell stories, and it talks outside its ass. It doesn't know what it's talking about. It's throwing spaghetti at the wall. Do not believe. How do you know your conscious mind is lying? It's speaking. Even the best thoughts are BS. All thought is BS. It's not needed in the now moment. So if you're going to tell a story, you might as well tell the best BS that you can. And that's how this works, because the subconscious mind takes you at your word. That's a Joseph Murphy quote. The subconscious mind takes you at your word. So if the conscious mind auditions with this will never work, and then you kind of go in half-assing it. If you're going to do it, give it your full ass all the time. But if you're really on team conscious mind that says you can't, then your subconscious is going to take it at the word, and that's the reality that it populates. It's no different that when you go onto Netflix, the conscious mind chooses the show, and Netflix populates it so that you can sit and watch it. That's how this works. Kat asks, is my partner into conscious manifesting and law of assumption too? Do we manifest things? We have done things. Yes, he is. We have explored consciousness. We've made things show up that don't belong here. We've turned lights on in rooms just by the power of our mind. Through my Reiki, 9th degree Reiki, with his permission, he allowed me to attach my energy to him, and I made him like a puppet, and I moved his body around. He had no control over the movement of his body. Like when I tell you guys, there's so many fun things with energy that you can do. And when you start to come into the Invincible CEO, you see how small the human experience is. But if something like that would freak you out, then your mind kind of introduces it into baby steps for you. And that's where I wanted to address some money issues right now. That if you have, and let me do it this way. If right now you had $5 million come in, and you had to announce it on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or wherever you're the most prevalent, or on all of them, let's say that's a requirement. In order to receive the money, you got to tell the whole world. What's the first echo that comes in? Because there's your block. Oh, I have kids. So as long as you have kids, then that'll keep you're in that reality. That's why the now moment, we don't go looking for them, but when the echoes do show up and they show themselves to you, you know how to close that loop. Because is there a reality where having that kind of money would endanger the children? Yes, but there's also tons of realities where it would not. Which one are you playing in? It comes down to you. But if you have fear, this is where that fear and wobble comes in. There's the big bad wolf. Here's your wish fulfilled, but here's the big bad wolf that goes with it. But if you build a brick house, you don't care about that. Because the conscious mind, that when my conscious mind tries to come in and contradict what I've chosen, saying that's not going to happen, well, being the interrogator that I am, I'm like, all right, you want to come in? You seem to be looping around. Come on in for a second. Tell me why that's not going to happen. I'm all ears. And I listen, and it's crickets, because all the echo is meant to do was just to say the one thing that'll never happen. Then it has to engage one of its partners, right? Because that one echo is, remember, an echo, if you say bananas into a cave, it should go bananas, 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 bananas until you can't hear. It doesn't go bananas, apples, strawberries, fruit salad. It doesn't do that. It's an echo is one thing. So when you ask the echo, why won't it happen? it can't give you an answer because all it is ever meant to say is that'll never happen. It can invite another echo along that comes in and goes, well, remember that time? That's the remember that time echo. If it's not happening now, you don't have to remember that time. That has nothing to do with the now moment. So let me share with you, and let's see where your mind goes. And I want you to put your answers in the live chat. So most states have a lottery, and most of them have a 3-number lottery where 0 to 9 can be in the first spot, 0 to 9 can be in the second spot, 0 to 9 can be in the third spot. So if we take 10 times 10 times 10, there's 1,000 outcomes from 000 to 999. And so let's say it's a 1 in 1,000 chance that whatever number you choose is going to come out. And let's say last night, 234 came out. Is 234 more likely, less likely, or equally likely to come out tonight? What is your first echo that pops in? I don't want you to think about it. What's the first echo that popped in when I gave you those options? Put them in the chat box real quick, because this is how your mind, I'm going to show you how the mind creates a story. Okay, Erin Cat says equally. How about anyone else? Anyone else want to share what their take on this is? If your mind said, Steph says not likely. Okay, so we got equally, not likely. If your mind says not likely, you're in a character that believes in time and space. And that somehow something you did in the past is now predicting the future or affecting the future. And if now that story is not going to serve you. The neutral answer is equal, because every day it's a 1 in 1,000 chance. And it has nothing to do with the day before. But our mind will come in and say, if it came out last night, it can't come out tonight. But this is where then you can tip the reality to your favor, and you can say, you know what? Because it came out last night, it's now a hot number, and it's more likely to come out again. So all 3 realities are possible. None of those stories are even necessary, even the equal one, because we're stating the obvious, that it's a 1 in 1,000 chance. And we don't have to state the obvious. The obvious is the obvious because the now moment is boring. But this is how your minds come in and take this now moment and create. And is it not convincing to you that it's less likely for those who would say that? But you have to conjure up the energy for it to be more likely. And in the Invincible CEO, since all that's happening is happening and it's really boring, so if we're going to bring something into our realities, it must serve us, because we are the operant power. We're the star of the show. Everything we ask for, we get plus more. Why would we allow a diminishing echo to come in? And that's the power of the now moment, to realize, are you dancing with an echo that you didn't know you were dancing with? You don't need a dance partner as the operant power. Every moment is a new moment, so it can be the same over. And it really is. Here's the thing about this. Every moment is a brand new moment. It's its own. If we took 1 minute and we took still frames and each frame was a second, every single frame that would have the movement for 60 seconds of whatever we were doing, each frame is the progression forward, but they're their own reality. But get ready for this. If every moment is fresh and new, and you are fresh and new in every moment because you got cells dividing, you got, food digesting, you are never the same you for more than a split second. Did you realize that you have never in the history of you done anything the same way twice? You've never brushed your teeth the same way. You've never put your makeup on the same way. You've never shaved the same way. You've never walked the same way. But because it's so subtle, you don't recognize it, and your mind creates patterns. So if you've never done anything, think about the precision that would be needed for you to brush your teeth, placing the toothpaste on the toothbrush the same exact way in the same exact amount, to move the toothbrush, because you have a pattern when you brush your teeth. You'll definitely be aware of it today. to get each bristle to touch each tooth in the same spot, the same time, moving throughout the whole. Do you know the probability of that? And this is the mind that wants you to be exact and tells you you can't. It's mind-blowing when you take a step back and realize if you've never done anything the same way twice ever, how could you ever criticize yourself of not doing it right or enough? And when people come to me and they say, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, well, what's the enough? Tell me what the enough is. And because no one's ever asked them that before, they don't have an answer. How could you know you're not enough of something if you don't know what the enough is? What the heck are you comparing it to? This is what the mind does. It creates stories and it sucks you into them. So today, for this $1,000 per day manifestation challenge, when you're declaring, I receive $1,000 a day, you are flooding that reality. And throughout your day, do it more than 5 minutes a day. You can still cook your dinner. You can still fold your laundry. You can still spend time with the kids. But, $1,000 a day, $1,000 a day. Because your subconscious mind takes you at your word. And if you're going to speak the words, because your subconscious mind knows the difference between the words that you speak and the ones that you don't. So the words that you speak, you're commanding your reality. That's why we spell our words, because our words cast spells. They open up the realities of what it is that they declare. And that's why you have the right to remain silent. And that's why, as an interrogator, silence was one of my most powerful tools, whether I invoked it or I had someone else invoke it. And I would say to them, when you're telling your truth, there's nothing to remember. Your truth is that you receive $1,000 a day. You don't have to remember why. That's why when we're doing our imaginal acts, we don't care why the money's showing up. What we're doing is making it show up. Then you can decide what to do with it. So when most people come to me and they're trying to manifest an SP or money, they have these long, intricate stories as to why things are now and how they can't possibly change. And my first reaction, well, that's a story. And think about this. If I just met you and I'm this kind of manifestation coach, I already think the world of you. I think of you as a powerful manifester. I think of you ready to go to the next level. And then you come in and you tell these stories. And I'm like, if I'm your magical genie right now and I can grant your wish and you just told me that story, I have no choice but to give you more of that story. I'm like your subconscious mind. Don't be telling me that stuff. And that's why, as your coach, I say to you, I don't care who you were up until the moment that we met. Just like your Uber driver doesn't care why they're picking you up wherever you are. Their job is to pick you up and get you to your wish fulfilled. My job is to pick you up and get you to your wish fulfilled. And it's not that I don't care. I'm not a mean person. But if we're going to pick something from the past that doesn't really exist, we might as well pick some really good BS to put in there. And that's why I want you guys to understand the power of this now moment and why we're flooding. Did I mention we're flooding the consciousness with what we want? And as I think it was Erin that mentioned, that all this other stuff starts flowing in because flow is flow. You know, and right now, if some of the stuff that you asked for 5 years ago is showing up and you don't need it anymore, be a good steward. Bring it in and then give it out to someone else. Do we have any other questions for those of you who are already in the $1,000 manifestation challenge for me to ask you to answer your questions live here? The one thing that I would suggest is that you trust the process, that through, again, there's 2 wonderful lives. Well, all the lives are wonderful because, well, they're here on this channel, of course, right? But if you want to learn chakras and manifestation, I think it might be live 4 and 5. They were back to back. And it really goes that in order to get to the commanding level, are you willing to do the repetition? Because the repetition keeps the conscious mind on board with what we're doing until you can achieve the level of commanding within your own reality. Erin says she watched a video that talked about deciding your new reality, looking at it like going back into your character mode in a video game. Choose your character story. Yeah, it's like a video game. You have to know your story. Now, here's the thing that I'll tell you, and I've shared this before. When I wanted to get my YouTube channel monetized, and on December 4th, I said I would do it in 6 months, and it was done in 6 months. It was actually done in a week less, but the outside world didn't get the official day until May 4th. I declared it. And what was I willing to do repetitive wise? I was willing to come and create videos. I was willing to come and engage with the channel. I was willing to do shorts, even though at the very beginning, I didn't like those shorts because I had to learn a new skill. I knew how to do long form and I could do it real quick, but this whole short thing, now I can bang them out like nothing. But it was like, what am I willing to do? And it wasn't, excuse me 1 second. It wasn't that I did it to get something. I wanted to do this so that I could watch the unfolding. Roxana wants to know, how do you sign up? Look in the description box from this video. It'll say the July challenge, the community, and it's a link there. You just join the community and you can pop right in. You'll be popped right into the community and you can go to the tab with the challenge. It's really, really simple. So are you willing to do the repetitive work as you begin to see more and more evidence that through repetition at the root chakra level, which is all about survival, we get to sacral chakra, which is about the transaction or the creative process of life. And then we get to the solar plexus of you command your reality into being. But the reason why I believe that there's this beautiful process we go through, just imagine right now, your echoes, if every single one of them would instantly manifest. Tell me how chaotic your life would be. How much stuff would you have that you have nowhere to put? And it's not about controlling your thoughts. It's about being able to zero out. So when you're zeroing out, we're not trying to eliminate thought. We're going deeper in the now. That's why I literally called the whole series. There's 30 videos called the Deep Dive into the Now series on this channel in sequential order for you. That when you go deeper into the now, a byproduct is that your thought, the echoes, stop. Because you're not focusing on those. Do they come in the beginning? Yes. But you're learning a new language. You're learning a new system. And through repetition, in a few short weeks, I think it was, I could bang out a short like nothing. And I realized how easy it was, that the echoes were telling me that it was going to be hard and it was going to be tedious and I don't have time for it. Well, I didn't have time for not to be monetized. I didn't have time not to have my YouTube channel the way that I want it. So I got to choose what I don't want to have time for. I don't want to have time for echoes that are just echoes. They're just echoes. Make your mind at least make a person to come and say it to you. And then when people come and say things to me like, that'll never happen, that's my sure sign right there. The second that someone actually says the words, that'll never happen, it's done. Not that it wasn't done before, but whenever something comes at me that hard to the opposite, it's about to pop just like that. Okay, I thought I understood about the challenge and how it shows up in the past reality, but got confused today again when I did my imaginal act. Would you please explain a bit further? Okay, so in our group, there's a guidebook, and in the guidebook there are 4 squares of, you know, what the imaginal act is, how is it feeling in your body, and then how is it showing up now, and how is it showing up in the past. So one of the things that I suggested to you guys is that not only $1,000, but I want you to start looking for 1,000, a whole bunch of stuff. 1,000 blades of grass, 1,000 leaves on a tree. I want you to see, flood your consciousness with 1,000, right? Now, in the past, how did money show up for you? Like that you could say as this character that was quote unquote real. How did unexpected money show up? It doesn't have to be 1,000. We're just looking for unexpected money to show up. We had a running joke, my partner, it was like 3 or 4 days in a row, because every time he did it, he would laugh and then it would repeat and repeat. He'd go out to walk the dogs and he'd find like 20 bucks on the grass. So we kept joking that the grass was paying him to look at it. So this is how you have fun with your reality. But your past, how many times in your past did 1,000 show up? In what form did 1,000 show up? Right? So what form, how did money show up in your past that it just showed up out of the blue, what appeared to be out of the blue, but it's never out of the blue. It's always out of you, because you're all this. You are life itself. You're all reality. So here's the crazy thing, that the way that, and I look at this, and it was really good. I think it was the last Flash movie, where he was looking in all these different realities, and they were like bubbles. And he would put his face in the bubble, and he would look in the reality to see if it was the reality. So that's what I always imagine. Like, there's this big bubble, and we're looking in this reality because we are the reality. There's nothing behind us. There's nothing outside of us. We are the all. And because we can only see what's in front of us, we think we're part of it, but we're all of it. We're literally looking at everything being reflected back to us. So when you start to deliberately enjoy what it is that you're doing, that it's no longer, we're going to set aside the hustle and the grind. We're going to set aside making things happen. Tomorrow, when I do the States of Being video, you'll be blown away, because so many, I haven't seen it, and I've checked out other channels and so forth. It seems like they're saying the same thing over and over again, but they're not giving you these practical, what can you do every day? I want you to give yourself some space and grace, that this is new, that you're, just imagine if you went to learn a brand new language in a foreign country that you do not know, but you'll learn it quicker if you're totally immersed in it versus taking a class once a week at a community college or a college or a night school. So give yourself this grace and space to build the brick house, brick by brick. And we are not going to worry about any steps that are 2 or 3 or 4 steps down the road. Let's just focus on the next step right here. Just like when you're driving your car, you can only make the next turn. So it doesn't make sense to be concerned about a turn 4 turns down that you can't make right now. Allow yourself to be guided by your intuitive subconscious mind that only can say yes to you. So we are going to make a promise and give an oath to yourself that you solemnly swear that you are no longer going to tell BS stories about manifestation, like you don't get what you ask for, you get what you need. That's BS. You're not the operant power then. You can play in those realities, but we're going to shift that. Your subconscious cannot say to you, oh, I heard that you asked for a Jaguar, but you're only deserving of a Hyundai. No, it can't do that. It can only say yes. And I know it's mind-blowing. I know, because you are sitting on the precipice of this beautiful power. And the way the system is set up, if you've ever seen any type of movies such as Harry Potter, where you're learning how to use a new power, and if you aren't really taking time to embody and become one with it, it can either destroy something out here or have its way with you. So you are giving yourself the grace and space to learn yourself as a powerful creator. We stop looking for signs out there because we are it. And we stop looking for proof, because as a investigator that had to go into a court of law and prove beyond a reasonable doubt, it's hard to do that. I had my butt handed to me so many times when I thought I had a slam dunk case, because I had the evidence, but someone else had a different perspective. But here's the thing, what happened when I was a young investigator, I was 23 years old, and I was so excited, and I'd go in with these cases and I get smacked down, but I paid attention to how I quote unquote lost. So the next time I had that kind of case, I made sure I got that part. And then I'd go back again and I'd get a little further, and then there'd be a different perspective. I get smacked back down. And then I'm like, all right, next time I'm going to get that. That's what we're doing here. Until I was so good and so adept at what I was doing that the cases never got to court. Why waste the time? Because they were just going to give me the yes anyway. They were going to give me my verdict. That's what we're doing here. Don't be afraid to get smacked down. Don't be afraid to face plant, because as you're figuring this out, you're getting stronger, you're getting more powerful, you're getting more aware. And the person with the highest awareness always wins. And creates the narrative. Creates the narrative. Erin says, all the BS has been gone from my mind for the past few days. Absolutely nothing opposing, just a wonderful comfort. That's it. That's it. You can't get this wrong. And anytime an echo comes in, it better be an echo that supports what you're doing. We want those. We want those echoes to audition. We want those to be here. And then when the other ones come in, it's like Echo Tinder. What's the one? Which way do you swipe? Because I've never been on there. Which way do you swipe when you go, no, no, no? Is that you swipe left? No. And so you can do Echo Tinder. Swipe left with it. Get rid of it. Get rid of that echo. Oh, there's one. That one supports what I've commanded. Yep, like bring that one in. That's all that's happening. It's just so exciting. All right, guys. We've been here for an hour. I could talk about this all day long, all the time. I'm so thrilled that you guys are so engaged. It's such a joy every morning to go and create the next video in the group for you, to create the videos here. There's so much fun stuff coming. I do want to just share, we are going to do the Dream Interpretation 2-day event, July 20th and 21st. Because every single person will get a live dream interpretation, I can only limit the attendees to 20 because I can't do more than 20 in a weekend. You will learn and be blown away so much about yourself, what we're able to pull out of these dreams, and how your subconscious, because your dream is really almost pure subconscious to this version of you. Once you know how the subconscious speaks in your dreams, it speaks that way here during the day because this is a daytime dream. Don't forget to go and vote on the community tab if you haven't done that yet. Thank you all for being here. I'm having so much fun. Until next time, keep your comments coming. Share the channel with all of your manifestation friends. Thank you guys so much. I really love this, and I'm making this channel so different than all the other channels out there because it is truly my goal to see you win big, win all the time, and celebrate you like you've never been celebrated before. I'm so excited. All right, guys, we'll be back here at 4 o'clock next week, but come join us in the community if you haven't been there yet. We are having a blast. Happy manifesting and enjoy.